In this video, I'm going to talk about original sin. So let's go back to the beginning about where all this began. This I'm going to read to you from the book of Genesis. This is the story of Adam and Eve, the first humans. So it goes like this. Now the snake was the most cunning of all the wild animals that the Lord God had made. He asked the woman, "Did God really say, 'You shall not eat from any of the trees in the garden'?" The woman answered the snake, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. It is only about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden that God said, 'You shall not eat it or even touch it, or else you will die.'" But the snake said to the woman, "You certainly will not die. God knows well that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like gods who know good and evil." The woman saw that the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eyes, and the tree was desirable for gaining wisdom. So she took some of its fruit and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for themselves. When they heard the sound of the Lord God walking about in the garden at the breezy time of the day, the man and his wife hid themselves from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. The Lord God then called to the man and asked him, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, but I was afraid, because I was naked, so I hid." Then God asked, "Who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I had forbidden you to eat?" The man replied, "The woman whom you put here with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, so I ate it." The Lord God then asked the woman, "What is this you have done?" The woman answered, "The snake tricked me, so I ate it." The Lord God said to the snake, "Because you have done this, cursed are you among all the animals, tame or wild. On your belly you shall crawl, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. They will strike at your head, while you strike at their heel." All right, so the first thing we need to remember about this is what it said in the Catechism, is that this story is figurative language describing primeval events. So there wasn't a literal tree. There wasn't a literal snake. Satan didn't turn into a snake, but the snake represents Satan. Satan is real, and Adam and Eve were real. So what happened? Adam and Eve disobeyed God. Death entered into the human experience, and God, however, promised salvation. All right, so this is the story of where original sin came from. Because of the sin of Adam and Eve, we all suffer the effects of original sin that's passed down to us from Adam and Eve. But you need to understand that the original sin is not passed down to us through our genetic code. It's not passed down socially either. It's inherited because it's a lack of grace that is inherited. What this means is sanctifying grace is the act of God working within us to raise our bodies and our minds to a perfection that is not possible in our human nature alone. And it was intended by God that grace would flow through us from Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had original grace. But because of their sin, they lost original grace. So why did they lose it? Because grace is God working within us. So if we try to go it alone without God, then we're rejecting God's grace. And if you recall the story of Adam and Eve and why they ate the forbidden fruit, it was to try to pursue their goals without God. And so they lost grace, and Adam and Eve's descendants did not have grace either, because we all need to understand why we need God's grace, and we can't understand that unless we first realize what life is like without it. So in the next section, I'm going to explain to you how God has now made the receiving sanctifying grace possible. So may God bless you.